Welcome to another SHG Podcast. My guest today is Mr. Andy Chapman. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I'm just going to start off here with a couple of wee simple ones, and then we'll get into the...
I'm worried about these questions because you've got them covered up.
No, don't be worried. Don't be worried at all. So, were you always into your sport and fitness, or was it a sport that got you into keeping fit and
It's a weird one. I've always been into something. Like I played rugby through school, and then when I was at university and on, I played rugby as well. Did my cruciate in my knee when I was 27. So like I was out for about 4 or 5 months, and my head was going mad. Like I was actually drinking too much, and I needed to get into something as soon as I got the knee sorted again. So I started powerlifting, and then that sort of kept my head busy powerlifting for a few years. Then on into during that time I was powerlifting, I was dabbling about with bodybuilding as well and things like that. Then I found CrossFit, which has been my job then ever since. And then more recently, the last 4 or 5 years, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So I have always had something to focus on. It's more to sort of keep my mind out of trouble, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. You said there that you got into it because you were playing rugby. Is it because you were a bit like me maybe at school? You were too short and you needed to...
Definitely that. I mean, that's probably the reason in the end as well that I found Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, because... At the time that I was falling into it, I wanted to get into a martial art. I'm very small and I'm quite light, and I needed to pick an art that would suit my body type. Yeah. And if I was a world champion kickboxer out in the street on a Saturday night, and some big boy at 120 kgs fell out with me and swung a punch, he hits me once and I'm dead. I needed to try and find a martial art that would suit the small person, and that's what Brazilian Jiu Jitsu says that it does, and it definitely does.
There's whenever I done MMA, it was the thing was leave your ego at the door. Yeah. Because you were gone and there was a lot of boys smaller than you that was, and they could just tie you up in knots.
I talk about it all the time. It was one of my first classes with Jason at Evolve and Derry. You've done a bit of work with Jason as well. You were saying years ago.
I have, yeah.
And there's a wee guy. We'd done half an hour of grappling rounds, and I was absolutely wrecked. And there's a wee guy in the corner, a wee 15-year-old boy, a wee baby face. His name's Dylan. I didn't know that he was an MMA fighter and a brilliant boxer as well. Yeah. And I went down to him for a wee restaurant, and I got submitted 6 times in the round. I was nearly choked unconscious a few times. Yeah. So like it puts manners on you, and it does it teaches you you need to sort of drop the ego if you're going to progress. Big time.
If you can talk about your, I know you briefly, you just briefly said there you went from bodybuilding to powerlifting. What was, like, a lot of people you've trained like that, I've trained a bit of both. With the 2 Steel brothers, and you used to
trained a lot with them as well.
We God rest, big Les, by the way. Yeah. But there's a transformation as well, isn't there? Because it's not the same as bodybuilding. It's 2 different. I know they're sort of in the same genre, if you want to put it, but it's 2 different types of training, isn't it? Really.
My issue with bodybuilding was, and I have a very obsessive personality. It's probably why I've been always in this sport and stuff as well. Sort of to keep my mind busy. Whenever you're bodybuilding, you get to the stage where you get yourself built up to what they call like a stage physique. Yeah. That you express yourself for one day. Yeah. But then everything after that's downhill again until you go on to the next one. And so it's a constant up and down, and I think that's reflective too in your emotions and your personality and stuff as well. So it was never going to be a long-term thing for me, whereas powerlifting's a wee bit more steady. You can always chase bigger numbers, and the goals could always keep you right. With bodybuilding, I just found myself up and down and up and down. Anytime I was always looking in the mirror for self-praise, and it was a weird time. Everything else went out the window. I became so self-obsessed that my family got they got the rough end of me. The partner I was with at the time, she had to listen to all my nonsense as well, and I didn't like the lifestyle. Now there's people probably with more laid back personalities that can be fine and go on for years with that, but it was definitely not going to be a long term thing for me. Plus, not eating carbs.
That's another thing. That's mentally draining as well, isn't it?
I'm glad I did it once, and I stepped on the stage once. I think it was 2010. But no, I mean, I don't remember it as a happy time in my life at all.
I would say I've known you for a few years now, a number of years now, but I would say you'd be one of the most positive guys I know. Like,
well, probably until COVID hit.
I my mum sent me a post the other day off her Facebook. She was like, one of your, your things. She goes, "Is this the guy that's coming on?" I says, "That's him there." And then she was like, she's going, "Oh well, he's writing what he's saying." I says, "I know, but we'll get to that there near the end." Yeah. That's at the end, Andy. And so what were we talking about there?
I just like having a positive attitude.
So I remember I says to my mates, I was like, "Look, I know, I want to get Andy on." Because I says, he'll definitely say aye. Cause then what was it? I sent you a message. When can I get you on? Do you want to come on the podcast? And you just go, "Let's do it." You right back. So I think that mentality that you've set yourself probably goes a long way in the sport you're doing now.
Yeah, well, definitely the sport that I'm doing now, it's probably anything I've done, probably the toughest sport that I've done. And I'm blessed to have found it, even though I was 35 when I found it, so I wasn't young when I found Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But for me, I feel as if I need something for the rest of my life that'll keep me glued and goal focused. And I think that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu will do that. I mean, you see guys and women competing into their 60s and 70s in it, so and also it really humbles you as well. It does clear your ego out. So it's like sometimes it's a regret that I found it so late, but then I'm blessed that I did find it at the same time, and it's something hopefully I can hold on to now for the rest of my life.
That's the thing, it was like the MMA train, as I call it, that brushed through Limavady, you know what I mean, with Jason. Fantastic coach, by the way, but it's a wonder you didn't jump on at the end, because he's related.
That's right. Jason's married to my wife's sister, so I see him every weekend. I'm at his house every weekend. And it was him that got me into BJJ as well. At that time, I was sort of in the midst of sort of finding CrossFit, and I was out at the gym along with Mickey, my business partner now at CrossFit Limavady. We were in Evolve at that stage, sort of doing the CrossFit stuff, and CrossFit was a brilliant part of my life. Where I talk about bodybuilding being something that I don't really remember as being a very positive time. Now the years that I've been in CrossFit's the complete opposite. I've loved it. But at that stage I was gripped by that, and nothing else. There was nothing else that was going to take me away from that. Even though one of the best MMA clubs in Ireland at that stage was at my doorstep.
Exactly.
And I don't regret that I didn't fall into it at that stage, because as I say, I was doing good things at that time, and I was enjoying my life, but. It is a bit weird that it was so late after he left them.
So close to you, and Jason was probably talking about it a lot. If you're always in his company, you know what I mean. But there was a lot of great fighters that come out of there. Daniel Thompson was one of them. Ricky Morrison, Jared McKee, all them there boys were fantastic, and they all the good thing about out there, if they seen you lacking in something, especially Jared would have worked. Or seen me doing something, I come over and show you. They wouldn't be. Look at him. He's doing that wrong. You know what I mean?
The brilliant thing about that club as well is they had people that were excelling at all the different arts. Like you had Mickey O'Connor and Hugh. That was
Big Hugh done the best
wrestlers about.
That's right.
You had guys that were Ryan Cargill and people that were more into jiu-jitsu, and you had stand-up fighters too, like Jared and Ricky Morrison, a very good stand-up. And so they had a bit of everything at the club at that time, and it was a real golden period for Evolve, and they sort of have. Maybe in terms of MMA dipped a wee bit, but I mean there's guys in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now that are doing absolutely brilliant in Derry. So I would imagine that the MMA will follow suit soon again. We Evolve, there's big things to come, I'm sure. Yeah, definitely. I know, well, I've not read down, but we've covered that there, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So another thing was you've travelled a bit too with this here. So this has took you somewhere else. This Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've been all over Europe in the last 4 or 5 years. I was in Las Vegas 2 years ago for the World Masters. We'll not chat about the jiu-jitsu. I lost my first fight on a takedown. So the fight was lost by 2 points. So 12,000 mile round trip to lose by 2 points in your first fight. They're a Brazilian who's actually getting cornered by Damian Maia that day. So one of the top MMA names in the world was cornering him. And I had nobody in my corner. It was too far away. Oh man. Oh well, at least you've experienced that there. But you actually went on and done. You fought in other ones, and you've actually won competitions. I've won 3 IBJF international competitions in the last few years. I've done well, but I've had losses and I've had wins. But that's what I mean. It's a humbling sport, because even when I chat about losses and wins, I've probably won more than I've lost in competition. But the only matches that I think about are the matches that I've lost. Like it's weird the way that I'm sure it's the same with everybody in any sport.
That's the mental thing that beats you up. I think so. It is, but the other thing is, like you said, it's not like weightlifting. It's not like, you know, powerlifting. Like powerlifting is you against you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so is bodybuilding. But there's so many aspects too. Like, do you want to talk about? I know just for all the MMA heads and Brazilian Jiu Jitsu heads out there, you know, they say gi or no-ghee and stuff like that. What would you prefer competing in?
Well, I prefer competing in the gi because like I would spend most of my time in practicing the gi. Like I run a club, and the gi classes take up the majority of the time when I'm teaching the young people. I'm trying to teach them things in the gi. My game's more suited to the gi as well. Being small, a person that has an understanding of the gi can control a bigger person a lot easier. Whereas if you're both fighting no-gi, usually the stronger, most athletic person will, you know, could potentially get the upper hand quite easy. Where if you've got a wee bit of trickery about you in the gi, you can slow things down and control it. So I definitely prefer the gi, but I love no-gi training as well, and I think it transfers better to the MMA and stuff as well. So I would train mostly, and I prefer the gi.
Yeah. Would you still do no-gi every now and then just to?
Yeah. So like we've one night a week that we put aside for no-gi only training. Yeah. Outside lockdowns, obviously. But then the majority of the training will be in the gi. The good thing, the thing that I find, and I'm sure there's probably B.J.J. heads out there that might disagree, but I think that if you learn in the gi, it transfers okay to no-gi, but you can learn only no-gi, stick a gi on, and it doesn't transfer just as well. So like if you're training in the gi, it sort of brings on both games better than training in the no-gi would, I believe anyway. Yeah,
and I know you have your own club now. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
But what club was it that got you started into it before, you know? And talk about that. Like you've already experienced it. You've had your own business with Mickey Walsh, CrossFit Limavady. And I remember whenever you were doing that, they were talking about, you know, I think you were training in. You were still doing a wee bit in Mickey's, weren't you, at that time?
I would have been, because I was still powerlifting at the start of that journey as well. At that stage, I was still doing a bit of powerlifting, so I would have been on and out of Mickey's, because I would have been training with the Steel Brothers quite a lot.
And you says you were talking about how anxious you were and how nervous you were, because you were in a full-time job at that time. Yeah. And you and Mickey both left your jobs to focus on that, and it's still going, by the way, and it done very, very well, and still doing well. But how do you talk about that air holes, that time in your life? What was that like, just to go?
It was hard, but because people were telling me that you need to look after your security and stuff in your job and stuff like that as well. But I mean, I honestly believe, and it's only in the last 3 or 4 years that I've thought about this, that like as human beings, we're not born to work a 9-to-5 job. No. They pay for a car that we're on end. They take us to work. Yeah. They drive home again. The house we're on end for 12 hours a day. Yeah. Paying off a mortgage, it seems as if we'll never have paid off. We're paying off taxes. It just seems like we're boxed into life that we weren't supposed to do that. Yeah. So once I started getting into and I left my job, I only started realizing that we've only one chance here. Yeah. You may as well be trying to do something that we enjoy. And that's why I was talking to you about before we started this. Yeah. Like, and this project that you're doing now, I mean, if this is your passion, why would you be worried about what somebody's saying to you about job security and stuff like that? Yeah, I know. We're only here for a short time, so we may as well do what we enjoy.
Well, just talking about that, I'm actually in tomorrow for an interview, and I'm still furloughed, right. But I'm actually in tomorrow for an interview to possibly they're paying people off, so that could be my reality tomorrow.
The other thing as well is like whenever I was working still in my full-time job and in the gym, I always had that safety net, so I never had to give it everything in the gym. Once the job was gone, I had to make the gym work. And exactly. it could be the same for you. It'd be like, I need this to work for me. So like then you put more energy into it. Yeah. That's what I found as well. That and it's the same now. Like I'm walking from the CrossFit gym now in January to go full time into the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu club. I need to make it work. So I will make it work.
Yeah, yeah. And we'll Team Ryano.
Team Ryano,
is Andy's gym. You can find them on Facebook. Are you on Instagram as well?
Mostly on Instagram.
Mostly Instagram. But I don't understand. There's a wee bit here that whenever you actually pulled the pin, I know you said that you have to focus on it. It's like you talk about having an addictive personality.
Yeah.
I would be the same. Whenever I started playing drums at the age of 14 or 15, nobody seen me. My friends didn't see me for 2 years. I practiced 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
And sometimes 6, sometimes 4, but there was no days for 2 years straight because I wanted to master that, and that took me all over the place. You know what I mean? But that was then, and this is now, and this is my new passion. I want to do this, so I am focused on it. Maybe a wee bit in the hole with the equipment that I bought, but
it looks class, by the way. A really good setup. Fair play to you.
Yeah, cheers, man. But we'll get that sorted. But it must be, you must have an understanding. You have a wife, you're married, so she must be understanding to stand by you and support you and go, well, look, he wants to do this, and you know, I know you're a father too, so talk about like how you balanced family life and the gym and leaving a job. And, you know, not having that, I know that's not what you want to do, but that security of that steady income coming all the time because, you know, you didn't know if this was going to work or not. Yeah.
Do you know what? It's actually slightly easier in my position because, like, and a lot of parents will know this as well, where the two parents are working and they're paying for a childminder, like, after their kids. And that's where we're at the minute. Yeah. The amount of money that we pay off for the childminder almost covers a full-time wage anyway. So in the worst case scenario, I'll be at home with the kids through the day, and how's that a bad thing?
No,
it's never great. A bad thing. Like,
so,
like, of course you're taking a chance when you do stuff like this, but there's the worst case scenario in my position is not a bad scenario at all. Like, so, and my wife is supportive. I mean, 2 years ago when I went to Las Vegas for the Worlds for Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, I remember. I always talked to Jackie about my goals and stuff, and I wanted to win at a major, and the Worlds is one of the majors for B.J.J. Yeah. And so, like, she probably knew as soon as I says there, look, I want to go to Vegas to do this. I went there myself. Right. So, like, I've had people say to me, how did you get away with that there? But I sort of knew that she knows like what my goals are and stuff. She's probably happy to get rid of me for 10 days. Yeah. But no, I've never had a problem with that. And I think that probably is quite important as well. If you're somebody that's chasing goals, you probably do need that support around you. Yeah. And I'm quite lucky that I've had that, definitely. Yeah, that's great, man. I see on. I have another friend who lives in New Zealand, by the way, and he does that. I want you can talk about it now because I see it on your Instagram. You do the cold water therapy. Yeah. You have a friend Blaine, wee Blaine. Oh, he does Clancy. This. I saw him. I follow him on Instagram as well, and I saw him. It was in a water pool or something outside his house. Yeah, I think it's like a wee. I think it was like a wee inflatable thing that you can buy for that or something. Yeah. What made you get into that? I know it's good for the mind and stuff, but what? Well, it's exactly that. Whenever we get in, it's a real weird story. Whenever we get into the first lockdown, I live in the Largy, just above sort of Carrick, at the Row, and when we went into the first lockdown, I remember getting up one morning and saying, I'm going down the river here. And I went down to the river and I just got in. And and from then on, I've stuck with it. Yeah. I started reading a wee bit about it, and I started following like Wim Hof online, and there's a Wim Hof instructor, Aaron Dean from Derry, who's absolutely brilliant, by the way. Like, if you want to try and explore this, he's the man to contact. Right. So we did some breathing sessions with him and started getting into the cold water. And at that stage, I wasn't even really aware that benefits that they talk about, but man, it's just so good. It's good for your head. It sticks you right in the present. Yeah. I have bother with my knees and stuff from years of playing sport. It's good for inflammation and stuff like that there. I always feel nice and clear-headed after I come out of the water. Yeah. And it's hard. And like, you should be doing, like, see when you do something that's hard, you always feel better about it after. And it's just, it sounds like a silly thing to some people, but that 10 minutes in the water, you feel great when you get out and you go about your day. So it's like, I can't explain the reason why I started, but I know that I like it, and that's just why I've stuck with it. Yeah, it'll be cold today. It was -1 this morning. I was out yesterday morning in the Faughan with a few guys, and we actually took a wee thermometer to put in the water. It was -3 outside, and the water was 4.7, so it was really cold in the water as well. 10 minutes does you. 10 minutes, that's crazy, man. Yeah. Did you ever think of going to? Did you ever see the cryo thing? I think Conan Lockery does that there around there. Do you know, like, I've done Conan's cryo spa before a few years ago, and I really, really struggled with it when I got in. Like, it was 30 seconds and I had to get out, and I was getting in and out, and I was in and out. So I probably have a better tolerance to it now. Yeah. But like, Conan will tell you all about the benefits. There's huge benefits to being in the cryo spa. Yeah. And I'm sure he's probably busy, or well, maybe not at the minute, the restrictions and stuff. But it is. There's so many benefits of being in the cold water. Yeah, I've actually
I have arthritis, you see.
Yeah.
I think it's years of drumming and whatnot.
In your hands?
My hands, but I take a needle for it now. And they've changed my life. Like there was days I got up and I couldn't make a fist, and now I have everything back again.
That's brilliant.
Feels like there's nothing there now at all. But it was my cousin actually, Paul, who rang me one day, and he used to play Gaelic, and I think he had like a sore back and a sore knee or something from Gaelic, and he went to your man Conan, and he says, you need to try that. He says, you really need to try that for your arthritis. And I was like, I might give him a shout, and then all this here happened, and you know yourself, like, but as a that's reasonably new as well, your club.
Yeah.
So how has this affected your club? You know,
we're moving into a place now right in the centre of Limavady, beside St. Pat's Hall, but we just don't know when we're able to do it now with the restrictions and stuff. And if there's a sport that's going to struggle when it comes to a time when you're supposed to social distance, it'll be grappling.
Exactly.
So I would imagine it would be one of the last sort of areas that be allowed to practice properly. I know that judo hasn't done anything since March, like at all. So like I'm in my head, I'm saying that we'll be moved into the new place and fully operating by spring next year. So that's my positive thought,
good man.
By spring, because I think they're starting this vaccine tomorrow in Northern Ireland. So I don't know an awful lot about the vaccine. I'm not a virologist, and I'm told all the time on Facebook I'm not a virologist as well.
Yeah.
But so like I would imagine that if a vaccine works well, that hopefully things will start to normalise coming into next year. I hope.
I was there's a lot of skeptical things out there about this vaccine and stuff, and I don't know. Nobody knows really. You know, there's conspiracy theorists and stuff, and don't get it and all this. But you know, who knows really? But it's. I know it must be crippling, like, for some. Where are you working out now? Where were you before you closed?
Well, in the CrossFit gym, Mickey and I still work on the partnership, but the partnership will run out now at the end of December, so I'm moving in a different direction in January.
Right, okay.
Well, it's just a chat that we had, and you know, we're both leaving the partnership in a really good way, and Mickey's one of the most passionate men in Ireland about CrossFit.
Right.
And that's probably one of the reasons, like, I don't know if you know much about CrossFit, but it takes an awful lot of passion to be, you know, to be in the job. And my thoughts were going in different directions and stuff. So I was doing the members a disservice by staying in that sense. But I mean, Mickey's the man to carry that through.
Yeah.
And he's also, apart from being one of the best coaches around, he's one of the best CrossFitters in Ireland as well, especially in his age bracket.
Really fit,
he's so fit, so
scary fit.
Yeah. So well, I'll be leaving that partnership now coming into January next year. So like from January on, I'm sort of in limbo until I get set up. Yeah. But it'll be fine, man. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah. There was people, I think, that work above the Hive gym too in there.
That's Mickey's, Mickey O'Connor's.
Oh right, that's a different one.
Different. This is the thing about Jiu Jitsu as well. There's lots of different affiliates and stuff, because whenever you're doing the sport, you need to get graded. Yeah. So you get graded under whoever you affiliate with. So that's a different club. Mickey's he's one of the top guys.
Yeah, I remember him. He was at Evolve as well.
A brilliant MMA fighter, was an amateur champion, chaos champion under and I think he's sort of mostly doing jiu-jitsu now as well. So I mean, it's definitely a growing sport as well. I mean, there's lots of clubs popping up all over. And it seems to be that the growth in MMA has definitely helped the growth in jiu-jitsu as well. Definitely.
There was another wee thing there I was going to say. A good friend of ours, wee Connor, does the CBD.
Aye, Connor's a member of our club.
No, I know wee Connor is. We used to play gigs together, and we're like, he drummed for a band, and then they would have supported Furlough and vice versa. And every time me and Connor got together, we were just talking about MMA. Yeah, and
he's actually a fantastic grappler as well. He's getting really, really good.
Yeah, but like he's doing the CBD now. Yeah. How do you?
I've been taking his stuff for 3 years. And I love it. Absolutely love it. people would ask me, oh, you know, what's the good thing about it? But for me, it's like if you go off it for a while, you don't really notice when you're on it the benefits of it. But when you go off it, you'll start noticing them. So like for me, really good sleeps.
Yeah, I
recover a lot better.
Right.
Like I'm nearly 40 years old now, and I'm still able to grapple good live rounds with young fellas every day, and get away with it for now. So there's like there is benefits to it. You just feel a wee bit like the sleep and stuff like that. There's a great thing. Whenever I started it about 4 years ago, I'd been diagnosed with hyperthyroidism, so my sleep wasn't great at that stage.
Right.
And I was speaking to Connor about it, and he's like, try the CBD. And honestly, I swear by it.
See, my sleep is terrible.
Yeah.
I have really bad sleep. I took it at the start whenever I found out I had this, and it helped out a lot. But I just stopped taking it for some reason. So maybe I need to give Connor a shout to hook me up with some of it again.
He's the man for the job,
the CBD Collective on isn't it Collective?
Yep, that's right. And they're on Instagram. He's supplying now to that
Biopunk. I was talking to Ryan the other day. I'm going to try and get Ryan on too. Just
he'd be a great man to get on for a chat.
Definitely. So it looks class up there. Have you been on?
I haven't been on. I've actually messaged the page because it was going to go on last week, but they were open on Monday. So I'll get a scoot on hopefully this week.
I just seen the pictures that they put up. You know, him and I think it's Ryan and Joanna's running that. Yeah. So no, good luck to the two of them. Definitely. For that there. I think Lamavati needs more shops like that.
It hasn't had a good supplement shop in any time that I can remember. Anyway, there was that brilliant health shop that was down the wee side street before you at Subway there, but I'm not sure if he's even there anymore.
No, I think they're selling like ornaments or something.
He used to do a lot of supplements and stuff. I remember around the time I was into like powerlifting and stuff, he had a lot of protein and stuff in there, but I haven't been even down that lane in years.
No, I know everybody's in the house now, but there's I was just gonna say before we wrap up that if anybody is looking to do BJJ, to give Andy a shout, we'll put his Instagram up on the page in the video, and you can give Andy a shout if you want to start BJJ. It's a brilliant sport and a brilliant mindset to be in as well. I think it helps people forget about problems whenever you're doing that sort of thing. Yeah. You know, is there anything that you want to say?
No, thank you for that as well. And whenever we're opening, for me, a lot of my focus will be on the young people and getting the kids into it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like that's why I wanted to try and get a spot that was sort of close to the schools, so that there was good access for the young ones and stuff. They wanted to go to class. I'd started some classes for age 7 up before we went into the first lockdown.
Yeah.
And the class was absolutely packed. There was like 25 to 30 kids there.
Great, man.
So. And we were making good headway with them at that stage. There was one wee guy who was on the spectrum.
Yeah.
And his mother had told me, you know, tried him everything and they couldn't get him, you know, to stick with anything. And it was just the sensory aspect, the touch and stuff like that there, and he absolutely loved it.
That's great, man.
And that guy broke my heart whenever I had to stop providing that, so that he couldn't get that anymore as well. So it's rewarding when you're in a job that you can see that making a difference to people's lives as well. And so there'll be a big focus on kids class. I'm going to run a ninjas class for age 4 to age 7,
right?
And then a class from age 7 until they can join the adult class. They can join the adult class, and I think 15, 16 up. Yeah. So there'll be something for all of them.
Yeah. There's actually there's a famous drummer who has ADHD.
Right.
And that was the only thing that could calm him down. Was drumming.
Yeah. I probably exactly the same thing. Whenever you're drumming, you have to be focused on what's happening there, the present moment.
Your limbs are in all different time signatures. You know, like
that's mad.
Yeah. So it's I think I watched an interview with him. Like he says that it was the being able to concentrate on just one thing and not have his head go over time.
I can understand that.
Yeah. So like BJJ is definitely the same.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you have someone standing opposite you and their goal is to try and choke you unconscious or bend your limb the wrong way, and your job is to try and do the same to them, you're not going to be thinking about what you're going to have for dinner that night.
Exactly. Have you ever been really badly hurt?
No joint, nothing with my joints. Thankfully, I've been choked unconscious once in training. I'm not going to talk about that. I talk about it a lot, and the guy loves it, so I'm not going to mention it anymore as one of my training partners.
Right.
So I've been choked unconscious once, but no, I've never been. I mean, the thing about BJJ as well, and anybody that follows MMA will know this as well. You just respect the tap. Someone taps, you let go of what you're attacking, and if you're in a bad position, you tap. Yeah. And nobody gets hurt. It's as simple as that.
Tap or something's coming with them.
Tap, nap, or snap.
Exactly. Yeah. Tap, nap, or snap. Yeah. But I think if I ever get this knee of mine sorted, I might come down to you.
Yeah, definitely, man. You'd be more than welcome. I have a gammy knee anyway as well.
Yeah, so I maybe even call like I remember doing the training out with Jason out in Evolve, and everybody was like, "Oh, you must be buzzing all the time," and I was going, "I was the most chilled I've ever been in my entire life."
100%, and that's what I noticed about myself, man. And even outside of the mats, like I've never been as relaxed. Yeah. Since I got into BJJ, it changes your personality a wee bit as well, and in a positive way. Yeah. And I guess like anybody that knows me knows my frustration with what's happening now. Yeah. And it's probably like countering that. It's like I want to get back to where I feel as if, you know. Yeah. And I mean that's probably my problem as well, but. As I say, it's just good for your head, man. Yeah, good for your head. Definitely.
And I was saying to my girlfriend, I said I would love to go back into that again, because like bodybuilding's alright, but then you're not as fit. You know, like I got pretty big there and was really strong, and now I haven't trained. I'm hurt at the minute. I'm injured at the minute, but I haven't trained in a month, and it's just it can leave you like that. You know what I mean? If you're doing something that's teaching you a skill as well, I think it'll benefit you more.
100%. And like even when you are injured in grappling, it's all about movement. So like you can go and watch, and you're still going to learn. Yeah, you know, that's the great thing about it, is that I would encourage people that come to my classes that if they're not feeling like training that night, if they've got nothing on, come and watch. Just sit and watch people move, and you still learn, man. You still learn.
You learn by looking.
Definitely. Yeah, like, and that's where bodybuilding we say definitely. You're not going to grow muscles by sitting your arse all day. No, exactly. You have to be, you know. But it's different when you're developing a skill.
Yeah, totally. I want to just finish off by, if you want to promote anything here or put anything. Are you on Facebook? Are you on Instagram?
Yeah. I've gabbed on about the club for a long time now, but
no, that's what you're here for.
The club's Team Ryano Limavady on Instagram. I haven't got a Facebook presence for the club yet, but that'll be coming as we open up now, hopefully into the new year. Yeah. And as I say, we've got classes for basically anyone. So like that's kids from 4 to 7, kids from 7 up. Great. We've got adults classes, we've got MMA classes. Our professional MMA fighter, Gavin Kelly, would have been involved.
Oh, yes.
Evolve takes our MMA classes. We're going to be having female only self-defense classes. And that's one of our members, Caitlin, who was a high-level kickboxer, is now very good grappler as well. So she's going to offer different range training for self-defense for women. So there's something for everybody. Something for everybody. Yeah,
that's fantastic. I didn't even know you were doing all that, man.
Yeah, that's we actually had female-only classes before sort of lockdown came. Yeah. But we were only starting to build it up. We would sort of hope and envisage that it's going to be quite popular whenever we open up again. Yeah. So and it's great that we've got a good female instructor to take the class as well. I think that's important too.
That's brilliant, man.
She's very good. Caitlin's been helping out with the kids' classes and stuff as well, and she's a brilliant coach.
So. That's class, man. Well, what was going to say? Well, I wish you all the best with it, brother.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming on and telling your story. We'll probably have to put this out in a week's time or whenever we get it, whenever the man with a plan sorts it out. We Corvo Media, check him out as well. He's a brilliant wee man for editing. And Andy, I wish you all the best, big man.
Cheers, man.
Take care.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Thank you. Be sure to like and subscribe, and give Team Ryano a shout if you're looking to do BJJ. Cheers, guys.